Yo, welcome back to another episode of Talk Yo Shift. This is De'Eric.
And I'm your boy Twan.
Listen, we back for another one, bro. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's listening. Thank you for everybody who's been tuning in. The downloads, they continuously, they're continuing to climb and grow. So I really appreciate anybody that just takes the time to listen to our podcast, man. We think that we're bringing, conversations that, really we just need to journey through. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even about coming with answers. It ain't even about coming with, all the facts all the time. It's really just kind of journeying and seeing where we at on some of these topics, like just sharing each other's perspectives. And, we want to make sure we give other people that space to do the same thing as well. So if
Absolutely.
y'all ever feel the need to share some insight or give honest critique on the podcast, feel free to hit us up on social media. My IG handle is going to be KULTUUR __. That's culture, KULTUUR __. Twan, you want to give them yours?
Do it. And my username would be at Twan. That's TOINNE 96. TOINNE 96.
Yeah,
That's
man.
on the
So
Instagram.
y'all hit us up online. Twan actually had somebody inboxed me the other day, man, which is it was based off of some of my content that I had posted, just what I've been posting on regularly. But people have really been,
Yeah.
jumping in my inbox and like, man, I really appreciate your perspective and just how you look at certain things. And it's like, I know a lot of people's not going to agree with what you're saying, but these are some things that I've been wondering too. And it's like, that's the ultimate impact that I want this podcast to have, is for people to just, I want what we say to resonate with people. But not only that, I want people to know that people have the liberty to journey, to say, hey, I
Yeah.
don't know where I'm at with that, or that just don't feel right. Like, that don't seem right. Like, this is how I see it. This is how I feel it. This is how I've experienced it. And you have a right, and you should be safe enough to voice those concerns. And it's like, yeah, you're going to get
Absolutely.
pushback just because you get that in anything. You know what I'm saying? Just because you share
Yep.
your own perspective, you're going to have a lot of people that's going to come at you, that don't know your story, don't know your experience, don't even know who you are, don't even know your name.
Right.
And they're going to come at your neck
Exactly.
in the comments, bro. And it's just like, it's amazing how people are just so courageous at making huge assumptions about you, and they don't know you.
I swear.
Man,
And it's like, and we're probably gonna do a future episode on this, but it's like people doubling down when they're wrong. Like, people really have an issue, bro, when they're wrong. And whenever you present a different way of thinking that challenges their thinking, people are just straight to the comments like, you're wrong, you're wrong. It's like, but have you ever even taken the time out to actually like ask yourself this question
yeah,
and like actually go through a journey on like, what conclusion do I come to on the other side? Not with my own confirmation bias, not with what I already think about that, but
sure.
someone presents a different idea. I sit and think about it and at least give some time to
Yeah,
where I come to a conclusion, right?
yeah,
Instead of just writing out what somebody's saying just because it looks different than your way of thinking.
yeah. I mean, honest debate and healthy debate and, just vulnerable and honest and respectful conversation, it can go a long way, and it could do a lot of, it can make a lot of progress in whatever field you're in. If you're talking about theology
Facts.
or just life in general or philosophy or whatever, like whatever you're talking about, like if we can sit down and have an honest, respectful conversation,
Yep.
we can cover a lot of ground with that. You know what I'm saying? When you come with an
100%.
open mind to listen, but people double down just because they just think they're right.
Yeah.
That's why they double down. Like, being
Yep.
wrong is not crossing their mind at all. Like, I am right.
Right.
And then once they find a scripture that aligns with with what they
Their
saying,
belief.
it's like, oh, it gotta be right because this scripture sounds like it aligns with what I'm saying. So it's just like, that's why people double down, man. Being wrong don't even cross their mind.
You know, before we get started, I would like to say, I want to challenge people to this because I actually posted this on Facebook.
Yeah.
I would like to challenge people, like, in their way of thinking. If you want to say you're certain or your beliefs are right, it's like, it's fine. Okay, let's go with that logic. I like to challenge you to see, like, does that actually work for you in your everyday life?
Mm-hmm.
Like, does the information that you have, your way of thinking, does it actually serve you well in everyday life? right? And then if it serves you well, then more power to you. But if it
More
actually
power to
doesn't
you.
work, but if it actually doesn't work in the real world,
Yeah,
what are we really talking about? Why are we why are
sure.
we holding on to things that actually don't even do anything for us?
Yeah, and it really just comes down to questioning your answers. Our brother
Mm.
Christian A. Smith has a new book out
Hey,
called Question
I'm
Your
grabbing that.
Answers. Man, when I tell you the title itself is cold because the
Facts.
title is work that we should be doing.
Facts.
The title is just simply work that we should be doing. We should be questioning our answers and seeing exactly where we are with those things. Because a lot of times we'll spend most of our life just regurgitating information that was passed down to us and
Yeah.
never take the opportunity to really interrogate what's being said.
For the longest time, I thought the light in the car when we driving at nighttime. Hey, cut that light off in the car for for the police pull us over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
For the
Yeah.
longest time, my peoples told me like, "Hey, if you keep that light on the car, cops will pull us over because we ain't supposed to have the lights on inside the car." That's what my peoples told me growing up. And all that time, I thought that was true. And I hit about 18, 19. I think I was in the car, with a friend, a cousin, something. They was like, "Man, that ain't real. That's a myth. People just told you that because they want you to cut the light off." I'm like,
Hey,
what,
hey, but listen, black people have always had a suspicion of cops. So
Bruh.
anything that's gonna bring any level of attention to my car while
Yeah,
I'm driving, I'm not about to do it.
exactly.
I'm not about to
Context.
do it.
This is why context matters.
That context matters a lot, but it's also why your experience, your experience and how you've lived through life, it matters, bro. And whenever spirituality comes into the picture, it shouldn't trump your experience from your culture or where you even come from. It shouldn't.
Yeah,
It can inform it, but it shouldn't trump it. It shouldn't make you erase it and say, yeah, my black experience is not, it doesn't take precedence over my Christianity or my spirituality. It's like, no, bro, they coexist. And
exactly.
speaking of that, so there was a big conversation online around the fall of last year, fall of
Yeah,
2025.
yep.
And something was going on, political or whatever, but the conversation in the Christian world, more specifically black fundamentalist Christians, they were saying this statement, I'm Christian before I'm black.
Mm,
And I even created a post about it on Facebook as a question. I was like, so I'm Christian before I'm black?
right.
Like I was asking the question to spark conversation, and it sparked a lot of
Yeah,
conversation. I
yep.
think I had like 40, 50 comments under that post. And it was amazing to me at some of the things people were saying and how they were justifying that particular statement. Specifically white people,
Yeah.
right? Just being
Mhm.
blunt, like specifically white people,
Yep.
because it's like somebody got on my post and was like, well, uh, I would want someone else to see Jesus in me before they see my skin color. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, I hope they see the Jesus in all of us. I hope they see love and light in all of us. You know what I'm saying? But you're gonna
right.
see the skin color too.
Yeah, you you go see this.
You're gonna see the skin color
Facts.
too. It was
You go
almost
see
it
this
was
kid
almost it
color.
was also it was almost along the lines of that whole colorblind, I don't see color type rhetoric.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway, this was a big conversation in the Christian world, man, and it really kind of went abroad, and you saw a lot of people talking about it, and you saw where people stood on this particular statement, and I think it
yeah,
exposed a lot of things theologically. I think it exposed a lot culturally, and I think it
yeah,
exposed a lot just of man, it exposed a lot of ignorance too,
yep.
and exposed a lot. It exposed how people really see themselves and others through the lens of Christianity or
Yep.
spirituality.
Yeah.
So this is what I want to kind of jump in today. You know what I'm saying? This idea that faith should trump your racial identity.
Yep.
Um, because I think that conversation, it raises a more serious question, right? And that question is, why are we being asked to even choose between our
Hmm.
Christian identity, spiritual identity, or our ethnic identity? You know what I'm saying?
So Yeah. So I'm gonna be fair first and say that I think ultimately what they mean by it is like their ultimate allegiance is to Christ, or their
Sure,
faith somehow shapes how they see everything else. Which that's fair. I'm not arguing that. I actually agree with it.
sure,
However, um, I don't think that our faith should separate our identity. Like I don't think faith uh inf- informs your identity, or no, faith does inform your identity, but I don't think like you should separate identity from faith. Again, like you said previously, I think they coexist.
sure,
And if we were even if we were to, again, like we were talking about before we got on the podcast, we were talking about this. If we were to say like I'm Christian before I'm black, if we would just apply that again to like real world examples, and if you were
sure.
pulled over by the cops, do you get to tell them like, but I'm a Christian though?
And
No, I don't care nothing about your skin color. Like,
and
this is the reality of the situation. You still ready to get this ticket, or you still ready to take responsibility of whatever the reason was I pulled you over. You don't get
yeah,
to
it don't
pull the
matter.
I'm a Christian card, right?
It ain't a card.
It ain't a
It ain't a
card.
card. It ain't a card to even pull. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. It's not.
Because it doesn't. It won't change the trajectory of that. That specific situation anyway. It just won't.
Exactly. It won't. Exactly. And so I think saying your faith informs your identity is one thing, but
Mm,
acting like culture or ethnicity should disappear is something totally different. Because
yeah,
just like you just said, like you gonna get this skin tone, like you, this is the reality. Like we're dealing with different races of people, different skin
yeah,
tones. So we're gonna just completely disregard what we see. Is that what you're
yes,
asking me to do? Like not
yes,
pay attention to reality.
yes.
What are we
I
talking
I
about?
I don't see color.
Yo, you don't
I
see
don't.
color. So you blind now.
I'm colorblind, and people take a lot of pride in that, man. It's weird.
And I understand, I get what people are saying, but it's like I think I get what people are trying to say, but
Yeah,
ultimately, like what we say is not
yeah.
as important as what we actually do with our actions.
I got you.
So you could say out of your mouth, "Oh, I'm colorblind. I don't see color." Right? And then you say, "Well, I'm a Christian, so that's all I worry." But what if that person doesn't share the same beliefs as you? But there's still harm coming their way. So if you've seen harm happening to that person,
Come
or
on,
if you know that harm's happening to that person, are you going to disregard the harm that's happening to them because they're not in the category of Christian?
come on.
Because you said you're colorblind, right? You're colorblind. Okay, that's fair. So does that mean? So are you saying by definition, if they're not Christian, you have nothing to do with them?
With that statement, with you being Christian before whatever your ethnicity is,
Yep.
it's like it does bring that into question.
Yeah.
It does. It
Exactly.
brings that into question. So it does my experience as a black person, does that have any is there any regard for that, whether I'm a Christian or not?
Exactly.
It
Like, is there
brings
any
that into
regard?
question for sure.
It puts that into question. So I think, like, I understand what a lot of Christians are trying to say, but I think unfortunately, like, they're not realizing the harm that it's causing
Yeah.
because they're just regurgitating what they've been taught.
Yeah.
Indoctrination is a hell of a drug, as our boy Christian A. Smith always says.
Sure. But I mean, it comes from Christian supremacy. It comes from, you know what I'm saying, just this
Christian
level of
nationalism,
superiority. Yeah, I
all that.
mean, the statement is made, and the air that comes with it is that it makes you sound more holier, like as if God is clapping his hands when we make statements like that. And it's
Yeah,
like, no,
exactly.
you s- you sound you sound dumb or
Yeah,
misinformed. Let me be nice. You
yeah,
sound
yeah,
misinformed. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And let's just keep it out of the way a buck.
hmm
This phrase really only comes up when it comes to black people. It's
I'm not
just the
gonna lie,
honest
I ain't
truth.
never heard it. Have you ever
It's
heard it?
I've never heard any ethnicity have to make the claim that I'm Christian before I'm black.
Yeah, I've never heard. I've only heard it from black folk. I've never heard I'm Christian before I'm Latino, or I'm Christian
Yeah,
before I'm white, or
yeah.
Indian, Latin. I've never
We
heard
only
that
we only hear this phrase specifically towards, we only hear black people seeming like they have to make this statement, and it's like, no, and it's like, it's only towards black people that we have to choose our Christianity before our blackness. It's
before
like,
our blackness.
it's only to us. Like, this
Yeah,
only comes up when there's racism being talked about, when there's systemic inequality going on, when there's cultural expression happening, or when there's black solidarity. Like, when those things
yep,
are taking place, it's like our blackness has to take a backseat to our
yeah,
spirituality or our Christianity. And it's like, y'all only do that to black people.
yeah. Why are we the only race that are taking a back to our religious beliefs? No other race does that.
Yeah. It,
It's
it's
incorporated in what they believe.
yeah, it's targeted. You know what I'm saying? And instead of engaging with the actual issues that we're bringing to
Yep,
the forefront, the racism,
yep,
the systemic inequality, instead of actually addressing those, the phrase is kind of like, now I'm speaking more so towards to like the black fundamentalist Christians who feel like they need to make that statement. Making that
yeah,
statement almost seems like a shutdown mechanism.
yep.
So it's like, when it's time to really have the hard conversations about race and racism and
Mm-hmm.
inequality and stuff like that, we make that statement because we don't want to be responsible for having those conversations.
Yep.
And it's like, I'm
It's a
Christian before I'm black. As
yeah.
if you're saying, like, I'm not going to speak on the black experience because I'm Christian before I'm black. And I think we should be doing things the way Jesus should say it. If Jesus was walking this earth, he wouldn't be asking us to separate our identity, our cultural, our ethnic
Come on,
identity
bro.
from our spirituality. Like, let's just be honest. Like,
Yeah.
we wouldn't. Faith always finds itself through culture.
Come
It
on.
never tells culture to go away.
Anything that
It,
tells you to naturally suppress the race or ethnicity in which you were birthed with,
yeah,
it can't be truth. Because
yeah,
again, I naturally were born into this world a black man. So you're
yeah.
telling me to suppress like what comes natural to me?
I can't, and
I can't.
I can't for one specific reason. It's my experience. It's my experience. It's like that statement is made as if they're saying race doesn't matter, but race does matter.
Yeah.
Especially in a society, it does matter in society whether people acknowledge it or not.
Right.
Ignoring
Period.
reality is not spiritual. Ignoring
Yep.
reality is it's not holy.
Facts.
It's not.
Facts.
It's just not. Like,
Holy is actually
tell,
acknowledging it because that's what Jesus did.
come on.
That's what Jesus did. I mean, from my understanding, every time I seen Jesus, it was never religious leaders. It was always the people we call sinners
Yeah,
that he was acknowledging.
yeah.
Alcoholics, the prostitutes, the drunks,
Mhm.
right? Whatever we want, the murderers. Jesus
Yeah,
was engaging these people and acknowledging the harm that was done to them.
yeah,
But we're talking about race. But Jesus is dealing with people that have committed actions that people like me and you would be like, I don't know. But and Jesus is acknowledging their harm. How
yeah,
much more do you think he would acknowledge others' harm? If
yeah.
he's willing to acknowledge the murderer's harm, the scum
Mhm.
of the earth, how much more is he willing to acknowledge anybody else's harm?
Yeah.
Us subsiding harm, us saying that race doesn't matter, is really just a way, like you said, bro, to escape accountability and responsibility.
Yeah, it's that's all it is. It's saying, I don't
Yeah.
wanna deal with that. And, I mean, truth be told, you don't even know how to deal with it. Like, you don't even have a voice in the conversation. Like,
Ooh, that's good. You're not
because you
good
don't
at dealing with issues, and that's why you
you're
don't
not
want to
even,
deal with
no. It's
mm,
not your concern, so therefore you don't even know what to even say. You don't have no voice, and you think that saying that you're Christian before you black or whatever other ethnicity that you are,
yeah,
you act like that shuts down the conversation.
yeah.
But it don't. It dismisses.
It dismisses it.
It dismisses the part of the conversation that we're supposed to be having.
Facts. Come on, bro.
that we're supposed to be having. When systemic inequality is going on, when people are marginalized, right? When people are
Yep.
being pushed out, when people are being targeted, that is a real issue.
Facts.
Presenting yourself as Christian before the experience of your culture tells you to dismiss the issue.
Yeah. Come on,
Dismiss
D.
the issue. Like, we shouldn't be having these race problems because race shouldn't matter. Like, what is that? What is that?
Race
It's
shouldn't
that.
matter, but what are you doing to solve the issue of race shouldn't matter? Okay, I agree with you. Race shouldn't matter if you're meaning it the way I think you mean it. Let's just say, in theory, you mean race shouldn't matter, meaning we shouldn't judge people based off of the base of skin. Okay, I agree with that. What are
Mhm.
you doing to solve that matter? Because you're saying it shouldn't matter.
Yeah,
But according to what's happening in the world,
it
what you
does.
seeing in the actions, it matters. So
It
because
does.
it does matter, what are you willing to do about it? Or do you want to be a
Yeah,
bystander and just say I'm Christian before whatever race I am? And by definition, you are a bystander. And if you're a bystander, then you're a part of the problem. Even if you're saying I'm not adding to it, you're still part
yeah,
of the problem because you're doing
yeah,
nothing to solve the issue.
for sure.
Hmm.
It's a, it's a language of compliance.
For sure.
It's a language of compliance. You know what I'm saying? It's saying
Yeah.
that, man, I can't even speak on these race issues because I don't think race should even be a problem. And it's like, okay, great. I mean, even Martin Luther King said, he doesn't want his children to be judged by the color of their skin, but by the contents of
Mm.
their heart and their character. Like, even Martin Luther King said that. Like, yes, race should not be a barrier to
Yep.
how I show up in the world and how I progress in the world.
Yep.
It should not be a barrier to that. However, the reality is race does matter.
It does
It
matter. That's the
does.
historical
It
irony of it too.
it has
Like,
always mattered,
yeah,
you know?
always. That's the historical irony of it, bro. Is like
Yeah,
black Christianity has never been separated from the black church
yeah,
from black experience.
yeah.
Like the black church historically. I mean, if we going all the way back to slavery days. If race doesn't matter, then why do we have segregation? Apparently, it mattered then, and because it mattered then, black people had to develop their own churches.
Come on. Historically, this is the story of our
Historically, this is
it's the story of
historical.
our people. Yeah.
Yeah. So history actually says something different than what we're presenting or what we're communicating. I'm Christian before I'm black. And it's like, okay, then according to the history of your Christianity,
Yeah.
the black church was segregated from the white church. And so they had to develop their own church. And it's in the black church sustained enslaved people. It
Yeah.
fueled civil rights movements.
Yeah.
So the very rights that white folks you have today, it is because of the development of the black church.
Yeah.
Provided through community and
Yeah.
dignity,
Yeah.
right? People taking care of one another.
Mhm.
Come on, man. What
I
are we
mean, I brought
talking
his name
about?
up before, but Martin Luther King, he didn't even
Yep.
have to detach his Christianity from his blackness. Like, he never asked his people to do that, right?
It informed
Like,
it.
Martin Luther King came from the black church.
Mm,
He came from the experience of black people. Why? Because
yeah.
he's black. And he was for the betterment and the safety and the well-being of black people. Not
Facts.
only that, Martin Luther King was also the person that agreed that race shouldn't matter, but he
Yep.
realized that race did matter. So when it
Facts.
comes to fighting for and speaking up for people who look like me, I'm going to carry that responsibility. But I'm also going to be concerned for the well-being and the safety of other people too,
It
right?
intensified his concern for justice.
Yes. His coalition and his the stuff that he was bringing about the forefront, he had a larger concern for poor people, period. Like, there's people that's just like, he was dealing with classism, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
he was showing people, like, not only am I for the humanity and the dignity and the safety of people who look like me, but
for
we
sure.
should all be on the same train pushing against powers that are here to oppress.
Yeah,
Period. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? So it's like Martin
Absolutely.
Luther King was one of those Christians who I think carried out the message of my identity as a black person and my identity as a Christian can coexist.
Absolutely.
It can coexist. I can be
Yeah.
exclusive and talk about the struggle of the people that look like me, but I can also collaborate and I can coexist with other people who
Come
may
on,
have
bro.
struggles and other
Come
people
on.
who don't look like me. Like that's what
Absolutely.
heaven is supposed to be like. You know what I'm saying?
Come
But
on, D.
Jesus never said, yeah, that blackness, that black experience. Yeah, I need you to
Yeah.
get rid of all that because you're a Christian now. Like what type of BS is that, man? Like that wasn't even his MO. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
That,
It don't
that
make any
wasn't even his
sense.
MO.
Right.
So like
Like I said.
I said earlier, man, I was like, this is only specific to black people. Like we only hear this when black fundamentalist Christians say this, and
Mm-hmm.
this debate or this whole separating cultural identity from your Christian identity, it only comes when certain things arise, when racism is going on, systemic inequality is going on, or when there's black solidarity going on. Like I've been hearing this going on in Christian spaces where they talk about cultural idolatry, right? And it's
Yeah.
like it's really a slight to anybody that's like pro black.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they think
Yep.
that it gets in the way of us being people who follow Jesus.
Yep.
And it's it's one of the most concerning things that I've ever heard in Christian spaces. I
I
ain't
know, bro.
it's nothing new. It's not new, but
Yeah.
it's just this slight to being pro black, this slight to having solidarity amongst people who look like you.
Yeah.
And they call that idolatrous, like that's idolatry. Like you are
Yeah.
idolizing, you know what I'm saying, your skin color or
Yep.
idolizing your culture. And it's just like, dog,
That's
like
sad,
we gotta
bro.
it's concerning. Like
It's so yeah.
it's really concerning. Like it's not just sad, like it's concerning because some of the people that saying this stuff have a huge platform. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
bro.
And it's like that messaging is so harmful, and that messaging, that type of rhetoric, bro, is so irresponsible and it's so uninformed, bro. And they think that they're
So
doing the help of the Lord. They think that they helping God by expressing this type of messaging, bro. Like telling people to, yeah, you need to separate from your cultural identity. Like
yeah.
that shouldn't play a part when it comes
Facts.
to your Christianity. Like, how irresponsible can you be to even make stuff like that? Like, I can't separate from my experience.
You can't.
And I can't separate the story of my ancestors and people who lived before me. Like, that can't be separated. That story lives in
Come
my
on.
body.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Come on.
if anything, I want to serve a God that honors that experience within my body, bro. And you
Absolutely.
telling me not to say nothing about it. Like, that's whack.
These
That's whack.
experiences
And
have shaped the
it's
person I
harmful.
am.
Yeah. Period.
That's whack.
And
Facts,
you're
like you
telling me
said.
to compartmentalize that. You're
Come
telling
on,
me to
bro.
set that to the side, and it's just like, man, that's so harmful. Like, how often do you hear white Christians say, "I'm Christian before I'm white"? Almost
I,
never.
literally, we were just talking about this. It
I've
never
never even
happens.
heard. I've never even heard Latino people say it. I've never even
Right.
heard. You know what I'm saying? A whole bunch of Hispanic or anybody. Like, I've never even heard them say it. Like, this stuff has always been specifically towards black people, bro. You know what
And
I'm
why do you
saying? Like,
think? Why do
just
you think it, D? Why do you think we've almost never heard other races say it, but then
well,
we've heard
I'll
black
be
folks say it.
specific. White people
Yeah.
have never had to say it because dominant identities rarely have to justify their experience.
Mm. Say it one more time.
Dominant identities rarely have to justify their experience.
Wow.
Minority identities do.
Wow.
Black people, we are a minority, and we always have to justify our experience as if they don't see it.
Wow. You know what, bro? I think the reason why they say that, now that I think about it, is because perhaps black folk, we have always been taught to kind of like, we've always been taught that we're lesser than. So
Yeah,
unfortunately, and this is why these conversations are so important because we have to unlearn we have to unlearn the indoctrination. We have to unlearn the things that we've been taught that don't serve us well or just aren't true. Like
yeah,
it's bad theology, it's bad advice. Uh it's bad perspective,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
so I think the reason why, man, is because we've been told for so long like we're less than. And like black people, unfortunately, like adopted that mentality, and we really actually believe that. And so now we come over to the Christian culture, we just take that same thinking and put Christian on it, and we just give lip service to a lot of stuff, but really, it's not really changing our lives. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And so I think that's what we do. We kind of compartmentalize and say, yeah, I'm 2/3 of a person, before I came to Christianity. And now that I come to Christianity, I'm in Jesus. But, that way of thinking of all being less than, I had that thinking before. And so I brought
yeah.
that thinking into Christianity. And now I'm expressing it outwardly to say my blackness doesn't matter. Only me being a Christian matters. And again,
It
like
makes
you
me
didn't come
beg the
out being
question
Christian.
though. It makes me beg the question though. So what does it mean to be whole?
Mm.
If we
It's
got to
how
cut
can you
off certain,
Yeah.
uh,
How you
what
being
does it
whole
mean?
if you cutting out parts of yourself?
What does it mean to be whole? Because I want to be able to live this life through my experience of a black man raising a black family with black
Come on.
children. Like I
Come
want to
on.
be able to live life through that experience, and not only my current modern day experience, but also
Yeah,
the experience of my ancestors and what they had to endure in order for me to have
absolutely.
certain liberties in this world. How do I live out those experiences
Show.
and still carry out the message and the consciousness of Jesus? Right?
Facts.
Like it can coexist. I should not have to separate my experience or the experiences of my ancestors in order for me to get the message of Jesus across. Like I shouldn't have to do that. Like even
Yeah,
Jesus came through culture. Even Jesus had a culture.
absolutely.
Jesus was not this non-culture person. No, he came
Facts.
through culture. He came through tradition. He understood
Facts.
culture. He understood tradition. And he knew that his word, he knew that his nature, he knew that his ways would show up in different forms
Come on,
in
bro.
different parts of the earth.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm
Hey,
saying? Like,
I think John says it best in John 1:3. It says, all things came into being, and not one thing that's came into being wasn't made through him. So
mm,
that means if we want to try to separate Christian from blackness, it's like, well, you trying to separate what Jesus has produced in another human being and separate
yeah,
it. How can you do that?
yeah,
Because we're all created in God's image and likeness, and not one thing that came into being has not been came into being through Jesus.
yeah,
So what do we if we trying to separate blackness from being Christian,
mm.
how do we explain all things coming into being through Jesus?
Yeah,
But
I don't think
blackness
that
ain't a
should be
part of
our
that.
job at all. That shouldn't be our
Come
job at
on,
all
bro.
is to separate culture from, our Christianity or our
Facts.
spirituality or whatever. I don't think that should even
Facts.
be the job. That shouldn't be the work. That shouldn't be what we need to be doing. I should
It
not have
shouldn't
to
even be a
ask
thought.
anybody. Shouldn't be a thought, but I should not have to ask anybody to separate themselves from their culture. You know
Come
what I'm
on, bro.
saying? Like historically, Christianity has always been culturally expressed. Right? You got
Always.
African Christianity, you got Korean Christianity, you got
Yep.
Latin American Christianity, you got Black American Christianity. Like
Yeah.
there is no culture free Christianity.
Yeah. You can't escape culture. No one can say, like, I am a Christian without my culture. You can't do that. Like you're gonna see life through the lens of your lived experiences. It's what shaped you. You have
You
no
can't
choice.
even live that way. Like it's not even possible. You
Possible.
you can deny it, you can ignore it, and
Yep.
you could try your best to suppress it, but your experience, whether you are a black person, a Latino, a Korean, whatever your culture is,
Yeah.
you cannot live outside of that body
You can't.
and just completely negate the experience that your
Yeah.
culture brings. You just
Facts.
can't do it.
Facts. You can't. You
You
can't
just
do
can't
it,
do
bro.
it. Like, and why are we even trying to?
We should just be simply celebrating each other's cultures, man. Well, this is what this is for. I was just watching. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, for winning the
Yeah.
Oscars. Man, I was just watching Sinners again last night. I wanted to run it back, and man, like even in that part of the scene, in the part of the scene where they at the juke joint. And
Hmm.
Ryan Coogler has that scene of all the different cultures coming in. Like you got the
Yeah.
Asian culture, the African culture. Like you get
Hmm.
all these different cultures coming in, man. I was just thinking like That's so cool, man. That's so beautiful. That's like such a beautiful moment that Ryan caught. Like celebrating each culture. Not saying there's a hierarchy, like one superior than the other, but just all of it's beautiful. All of it has
Yeah,
something to offer. Why? Because it's
yeah,
different, right? We have our culture to offer, they have their culture to offer, and we can just all celebrate it together. But instead, we rather say, all of that stuff doesn't really matter. You know, only Christian and like Jesus matters. And it's like,
yeah.
Jesus is big enough to flow throughout our culture.
It's
Jesus
great.
isn't so limited and little to where he's like,
You could paint the most beautiful picture where there is culture being honored and respected and integrated, and people still gonna be like, nah.
nah, that's crazy, bro. That's so crazy, D, bro. Like,
Nah, I ain't
nah,
with
that ain't
that.
quite it. Yeah. It, it's nuts, man, because people don't even realize like that reveals your way of thinking. Like you trying to say, like, nah, that ain't it, or nah, that's not right. It's like, but who told you that though? That
Yeah,
reveals your way of thinking. And because it challenges that way of thinking or doesn't align with what you think it should look like, you're saying,
yeah,
nah, it's wrong. But who
right,
told you that?
right.
Who told you that?
Yeah,
That's a question I got from now on for people. Who told you that? If you wanna be dogmatic on your beliefs or whatever you got to say out of your mouth, it's like, okay, that's fine.
yeah,
If you're gonna say that you're certain on that thing being right, who told you that?
yeah. Or where does it even come from? Like
Where's it even come
what
from?
what part of your experience informs that part of how you live your life?
To
You know
be
what
the
I'm saying?
standard, yeah. Right,
To
facts.
be the standard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But some of this stuff we know, you know what I'm saying?
for
Like
sure.
historically for the story, the historical story of my people and people that I come from, like it was always a superiority inferiority type thing, right?
Yeah.
It was
Mhm.
always being seen less than. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And anytime we picked ourselves up by our bootstraps and we were thriving and we had robust cities and we were keeping the dollar in our community for longer than a few seconds and we was
Yeah.
actually supporting black businesses and thriving in the housing market, we had our own grocery stores, banks and houses and hospitals and stuff like that. What happened to them? They got torn down. They got bombed.
Torn down. But
Some
race
of
didn't
them are
matter
even
though.
some of them are even float. Some of them are even living under lakes that we see now as big name lakes. They even are under lakes now.
But I thought race didn't
You know,
matter though. D, the
you
proof's
can
in the pudding, like
you could want race not to matter all you want. It's not going to change the reality that it does,
facts.
and it has always mattered.
Yeah. And we got
It has
evidence and
always
historical
mattered
facts to prove it. This ain't just lip service or us blowing hot air. There's historical facts to prove it. That
that you can
says
read.
otherwise. Literally that you can read.
It's documented.
Yeah.
It's documented. But with this conversation, though, like with that particular framework, I think there's a better framework that we really need to adopt, or a better framework that
Absolutely.
we really need to integrate. Right on my
Yeah.
Instagram page not too long ago, I shared it on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, all that. But
Yeah.
I talked about integration, right? And I talked about how I felt like integration is a skill set that a lot of Christians don't know how to have, right? Because it's always this binary thinking. So it's either black or white. It's either good or evil.
Yep.
There's no in between. There's no nuance.
Yeah.
There's no gray space. There's no none of that. It's just this or that. And that type of thinking, it doesn't allow you to integrate anything,
Yeah.
right? So
Absolutely.
when you hear statements like "I'm Christian before I'm black," that's the lack of skill set of knowing how to integrate,
Right.
right? Because it has to be
Facts.
either or.
Exactly.
That's the only way my theology or my Christianity has informed me. It has informed me that you have to be either or. And it's like, why does Christianity have to trump our black experience or your experience
Right.
from whatever cultural ethnicity that you come from? It shouldn't.
Yeah.
It should coexist. I think we should integrate a better framework. And instead of hierarchy, it should be integration, right? And an example of
Mhm.
that is I am fully black or
Yep.
whatever ethnicity you are. I am
Yeah.
fully Christian.
For sure.
My faith informs how I live my blackness.
Mm.
My black experience shapes how I understand my faith.
Yes, sir.
That's
That's it.
integration,
Mhm.
right? That is not me dismissing the two. That's both of them coexisting and living inside of my body and living
Facts.
inside of my mind and how I show up in the world. There's no
Facts.
more compartmentalizing. There's no one over the other. They coexist and they both honor each other.
They both honor each other. Facts.
They both honor each
Absolutely.
other. Faith and culture are not enemies, and we gotta stop doing that. But so many people weaponize their faith. And when you
Yeah,
start to weaponize your faith and your Christianity, culture will always be an enemy.
absolutely.
Culture will always be an enemy. And
When you
it's
weaponize it,
unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And that's why these conversations keep circulating within our
yeah,
community, outside of our community, worldwide, globally. Like they keep circulating because we're constantly fighting our faith with our culture. And it's like
for
we
sure.
gotta stop doing that. They both interact with each other. That's why they keep circulating. They're gonna keep
Yeah,
bumping heads when you make them an enemy when they're actually supposed to
facts.
be integrating.
Come on, bro. And, when you say that, D, it actually makes me think about a marriage. Like two people coming together, they're both individuals, both got different lived experiences. But when
Mhm.
they come together, do they say like, "Hey, all the stuff you know and learn, like get rid of, and all the stuff I know and learn, get rid of," and then we just gonna come in and like, or do we say, "Okay, we both got lived experiences, different ways of thinking. How do we integrate one another in this relationship in a
And that's the
mature,
work.
responsible?" Come on, bro, and that's a word, and that's what it is. D is that the church doesn't want integration because they think because correct thinking's easy, right?
Yeah.
Black or white, right? But then when you do integration, it's like, okay, there's some work that has to take place. There's some healing that's to take place, right?
Some people say they got discernment, and I'm like, you a bold-faced lie. If you don't know how to integrate in life, the only thing you know how to discern is black and white. You don't see no
Facts.
color,
It's
you
correct
don't see
thinking.
no
That's it.
nuance, you don't see no complexities and nothing. You only
Right.
discern black or white. And that's why you think you have such powerful discernment, because if it don't fit in black or white or good or evil, it
You like,
gotta be
oh,
wrong.
I can exit out because it don't fit in the black or white category. So that's easy. It's like, see, I got the gift of discernment. It's like, actually, you don't. Having the gift of discernment is actually like being in the midst of chaos and being able to weed through it.
Yeah.
Not say I'm gonna avoid it, and that it makes me like good at discernment because I avoid like
But us,
responsibility.
Christians are really good at avoiding, you know what I'm saying? But I think we need to
Oh
get even
yes,
better at I think we got to get better at integration,
for
and
sure.
that's something that I think this conversation
Hey, we might need to
exposes.
do a future topic on that. By the way, integration, future
Oh, I'm with it.
episode.
I'm with it.
That's fire. I like that.
But I think this conversation exposes the lack of integration that we have, or that we tend to do, right? And when it
Yo,
comes to culture and faith, they should not be enemies. They should interact with one another. Like
yep,
they do it inevitably, but we should know that and understand that and honor that, right? And
yeah,
integrate that and allow both to honor each other and not
for sure.
bump heads with one another. So
Absolutely,
before we
bro.
close this conversation, I got a few questions that we're not going to answer, but we want to leave our listeners with these particular questions. So, Twan, you got these questions in front of you. I'm gonna read the first one. I
Yep,
want you to read the second one, and I'll read the third question. So these are some
bet.
questions I want y'all to sit with. Y'all could take the content of this conversation and allow it to inform the answers of your questions. And this is not just in a black context,
Yeah,
right? Even though we spoke predominantly about the black context, because we're black men, but
that's our experience,
um,
right?
right. And initially we were addressing the Christian before on black conversation. But anyway, this can fit in the context of whatever culture you come from, right?
Yep.
So question one, why do some Christians treat culture as a threat to faith?
Mm,
Why do some Christians treat culture as a threat to faith? To
it's a really
faith.
good,
That's question one. Twan, go ahead with question two.
really good question. Question two: why is Black identity often labeled political?
Mm.
Again, why is Black identity often labeled political? That's the second question. Go ahead, D, for the third.
Third and final question. If God created humanity with culture and ethnicity, why would faith require suppressing those things?
Ooh,
If God created
that's true.
humanity with culture and ethnicity, why would faith require suppressing those things?
Hey, y'all, and I'm gonna be honest. I actually had mentioned this earlier, and I didn't even know that was a question. So that's crazy. But that's such a really good question though. Like, why would faith require suppressing
These
of
are some real
things?
good questions.
So
I want to
Bruh.
answer them, but for the sake of time, we're
I
not gonna worry
swear.
about it for now.
Yeah, we ain't gonna do it. Yeah, maybe
But
we'll come back and answer them on another episode or something like that, just to
yeah,
give
yeah,
our
it'll
well,
show up again, man. Because this
yeah,
conversation gonna run itself again in the world.
absolutely. We'll come
We
back
we
around
may
to
not
it.
even do a podcast. You might just have to meet us on the IG pages, and we'll make some
Facts.
content addressing
Facts.
these. But I'm glad we had this conversation because
Me too, bro.
I think it points to a greater issue, right? Maybe
Yeah.
the problem isn't being black and Christian. Maybe the problem is believing that you even have to choose in the first place.
And that's the framework right there. You feel like you think that if we had to sum it up, that's the framework is believing that you have to choose between the two, and that's the framework that needs
Absolutely.
to graduate
Absolutely.
and
If
change.
if
Absolutely.
if you think you have to separate the two, that is a
Yeah.
problem.
Facts. Facts. I agree.
That's a problem. And you lack, or whoever taught you that or informed you of that, lack the skill of integration.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree, bro.
They
It's
do.
real good. Here's a bonus question for y'all if y'all want to dive into it or whatever. It says if Christianity asks people to suppress their cultural identity, is that spiritual transformation or cultural assimilation?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Hey, I'm glad y'all got to sit with these questions because
Yeah.
it's some work that
Facts.
involves these questions, man. But let's see what your faith informs you to say about these questions, about these answers. Feel free to DM us.
For
Again,
sure.
my IG handle is KULTUUR__KULTUUR__.
And my IG handle is Twan96 TOINNE 96. That's TOINNE 96.
That's it, man. So
That's
listen,
it right there, y'all.
until then, be
Be
curious
curious, ask questions, and
and
talk your
talk your
shift.
shift. I'm going to holler at y'all, man.